What is going on, YouTube family? Welcome back to another episode of NAS100 analysis. Today, I hope you guys have been getting amazing results with your trades week just gone. Okay, and I believe in this video you're going to find this content that I'm about to share with you super useful. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification, and drop us a like. Right. So with that covered, we're going to get straight into the business of the day, which is analyzing the market. So the last video that I did, so we're just going to mark it out. And I think marking out is actually quite useful because it helps us get our bearing in terms of what's going on, what to do, what not to do, etc, etc, etc. So we're just going to lock that in place right here. So the last video that I did was we covered this area over here, and I mentioned the weekly high versus the weekly low, right? That's what we talked about in last week's video. All right, so in this week's video we're going to go over the same deals again, but however we're just going to focus on what the potential outcome for next week is going to be. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to get rid of some of these drawings that I've done on here because it's not too busy, but however it is creating a bit of a mess, so let me just get rid of it. Okay, so that's all cleaned up. Okay, so a couple of things that I wanted us to keep an eye on moving forward was to wait to see if a low or a high gets taken out, and then that would then help us make a decision in terms of what we need to do and how we need to do it. So this week just gone, and that is week commencing, what date? Week commencing the 21st of August, right? The high that was produced last week broke the previous weekly high, and that's this one over here. Okay, so you can kind of turn your focus and say, okay, maybe we have an uptrend going up right now, and then when we look at this on a day, it's going to make a bit more sense into the overall market sentiment direction. Because remember, there's a couple things that's taking place right now that we need to be aware of. First things first is that we have 3 highs that market is staying below. Okay, and the most recent high has just been taken out right over here. So this was last week Wednesday. So last week was Wednesday. Just going to put that here. Just going to drop this right on the top right here so we know that was the high. Just assign a label to it. And then down here was the weekly low. This right here is the weekly low, right? And this is for last week just gone. So this high has been taken out. So this high, this high has been taken out over here, and we had to push to the downside, right? And I'm going to go into the trades that I did last week as well. So I'm just going to talk briefly a little bit about that. But now that we can see this move has taken place up here, okay, what I'm now likely to do right now is I can basically draw out a trend to see if market is indeed going to stick to that. And if that turns out to be the case, then that will put me in a stronger position for next week. I believe possibly for the next 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how everything goes, right? Because in my opinion, market is still going to be breaking down. I'm not expecting market to be pushing up, although it may do slight little pushes to the upside, but in my opinion, it will be breaking down, right? And because I've said that, it's important I say this. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you financial advice. This is purely my opinion. It's important you do the homework so that you can figure out how I come to the decisions that I've made. And there might be a very good chance that you might even have a counter views to what I'm basically saying right now. And I'm going to do my utmost to try to explain exactly what I mean in terms of me saying that market is going to be breaking downwards somewhat. So naturally I'm downward facing in all of my trades in regards to the NAS, right? So this is the trajectory based on what's taking place here and what's taking place here of last week. This is the map that I've put forward in terms of where I think market is going to go. I could be right, I may be wrong, only time will tell, right? The main reason why I'm saying that market is going to be breaking down is that we have lows that have been taken out, okay? So not only do we have a build-up of highs, of market staying below weekly highs, we also have a build-up of market breaking weekly lows as well, okay? So the first weekly low to be taken out is this one right here. and that's in correspondence to this area over here. The second weekly low to be taken out is this one right here. So this one right here, there it is over here. It got taken out on a Friday. I should have mentioned that, but I wasn't really looking that far in, right? So we've got two lows taken out. Then we have what could be, maybe 50-50, who knows, right? This could be a rising wedge. And if this turns out to be a rising wedge, as I've mentioned many times in my videos before, okay, there's a very high probability that it's going to break downwards. All that we would need to keep an eye on, or all that I would need to keep an eye on, is as the wedge is doing its wedge business, right? So this is the wedge business, right? It's doing its wedge business, okay? Is I would need the wedge to do one thing only, okay, in order for me to accept the fact that maybe price is pushing up. The wedge will need to take out this high over here. It would need to take out this high over here, and which is the highest point of the NAS, I believe, for this year. Let me see how far back I can go. Let's go to day for a second. Let's put all this to sleep. Well, let's hide it actually. Hide all drawings. Yep. Yep, so this is the highest point of this year, right? So I would need the NAS to take that out. I would need it to take it out, right? If it doesn't take it out, then I know that there's a good chance that price is going to be breaking down some more, right? It's going to be breaking down some more, and as you can see, I've already done some of the work already. All the major levels to the downside. At the moment, it's knocking out all the highs, right? So it didn't get to this high. This is where I thought it was going to go at one point in the video. I may have mentioned it, may not. It depends. But I think it didn't take out this high, right? It has definitely come below this major level over here. So that's worth noting down, okay? What we need it to do is to take down one of these lows and one of these major highs over here, because once it's done that, all the highs have been taken out on the top side. So all it would need to do now is to be smashing through all of the lows as it heads downwards and downwards until eventually it settles. Okay, there is a number of news coming out in regards to the US, right, that kind of supports price pushing all the way down before it finds itself to push back up again. Okay, so what is the vibe? The vibe is, and by the way, I don't know for a fact because I am not in there, so this is purely an assumption. So you can class this as a rumor, okay? So rumor has it, depending on what news channel or what social media guys or what news outlets you follow, okay, is that there is a very, very, very high possibility that at the beginning of 2024, the United States will be going into some kind of a recession, okay? And you say to yourself, okay, so if that's going to be the case, why will this be pushing downwards, right? Well, what normally happens in a recession, okay, is market does the opposite. Market reacts early to the situation, going by how I've seen things, right? So it will react early to a situation, okay, and then it will then respond differently afterwards. So for example, as we're building up to a recession, price will start falling down. Down. People will start exiting the markets, okay? And as soon as we get to when it's declared a recession, the prices will start pushing back up again. But bearing in mind, everybody would have jumped out by then, okay? So price would have been pushing back up again, and then when the news says we're out of recession, the market is back up at its all-time high. Okay, because remember, the amount of people that are actually watching the charts right now is in the minority. Okay, a lot of people are focused on other things, but they're not keeping an eye on this. So if you're here watching a channel like this, okay, you are in the minority. You're not in the majority, you're in the minority. All right, because this basically tells you where the direction of the world is going. Not this per se, i.e. NAS100, but just charts in general. So for example, you could be looking at the gold chart, the silver chart, the crypto chart, because now they play a role, right? Especially BTC, it now plays a role. And all the other ones, as long as you've got your eyes on it, I promise you, it's like you have a crystal ball. You can see what's going to happen before it happens, and even if you don't know anything about it, spending enough time looking at these charts, etc. Okay, as time moves on, you begin to have like you begin to have like the ability of foresight to see what kind of policies are going to do what to the general populace just by looking at what's taking place in the chart, right? So it may make sense to some of you, it may go over your heads, that's all absolutely fine. By all means, feel free to rip me apart in the comment section, because obviously, you know what I mean, I do like dropping hearts and emojis on people's comments. So yes, you can do that if you think I'm totally wrong. But however, that's my opinion on that. So enough of that basic rant. This is what I think is going to be taking place. So this is what I think is going to be taking place in the coming months, especially as we move towards the end of the year, and we're going to get like a really big breakdown to the downside. In my opinion, I could be right, I may be wrong, only time will tell. So let's look at what I believe may be taking place next week. All right, what I believe may be taking place next week. So as it stands right now, the levels that I'll be looking to see break, right? To see break are the highs and the lows of the current weeks or previous weeks, right? So this high has been taken out by this high over here. This low was not taken out but produced a higher low. Okay, right? So for the meantime right now, I would say this overall trajectory is going to be somewhat of an uptrend. So I would position myself in somewhere towards the trend line. So long as it doesn't break a low, right, I'll wait to see confirmation that it is pushing up, and then I will ride it to the upside, and I will hop off somewhere around the previous highs just to make sure I've got everything locked in, and then I get off. But because I myself, I'm downward facing, I'm not going to be taking buys from this level over here. Okay, I'm going to be waiting to see when it pushes up, and then I'm going to be taking my sales from locations up here, okay, to ride it down, because I believe eventually this whole thing is going to break, right? And going by all the information that I've come by, okay, so this is not top secret information that it's only I that know, it's general public information, right, that everybody gets their hands on. How I have interpreted that information is that I personally believe the price is going to be pushing downwards, and that's, like I said, I could be right, I may be wrong. We're just going to see how everything kind of transpires, okay? But however, if you do know how to effectively navigate the market properly, it doesn't matter if it's going up or going down. You can take positions either way, just because you actually know how to read the hieroglyphs of what I refer to as the candlesticks. Right, so as long as you're able to read what's taking place here, okay, it doesn't matter if it's going up or down, because you always find an opportunity to take a position and be super successful. So the vibe for next week will go as follows, okay, same as the previous week. We're waiting for a high to break. So for example, if you watched my previous video last week, right, yeah, I talked about the highs being locked in normally around the beginning of the week. And we kind of had the same thing over here, but it happened at the end of the week. So a high was locked in, then it gave us a bottom, okay, right here. And then we're going to get the same thing again. So next week, if price is at the bottom over here and price doesn't break below this level, it's only fair to assume it's going to push up and may produce a high higher than this one over here, okay, and then settle and then starts pushing down. And just bear in mind another key thing as well, another super key thing as well that we need to keep an eye on is, where is all this activities taking place? It's taking place on a major buy side level, okay, a major buy side level. So this is where all the games are being played right now. It's right alongside this line right here, okay, and we have a high on that level. The high was taken out, it's going to go up, it might come below, then it might go up again, then it might come below, and then eventually it's going to do one or two things. Either it's going to blast off to the upside, which I highly doubt, but I could be wrong, or it's going to blast all the way down, which is what I anticipate. Okay, so that would be the vibe for this video in terms of where I think market is going to go. There isn't any really key levels for me to actually mention, right, in terms of, oh, wait for this and wait for that. All you basically need to do is just put the video into HD mode and you should be able to see the numbers right here. Okay, so the first one, the high side of last week, I would say it's approximately 15,378.4, and then the low side of last week is approximately 14,714.8. right? So if price breaks either or, we need to consider taking some type of decision. A sell side signal in my opinion, will be price breaking below this level over here, which would be 14,546.9 approximately. So that is, it breaks below this level, a clean break below this level, and does some type of consolidation. I will lock that in. Me personally, I can't speak for you, but me personally, I will lock that in as a potential sell and then see what it does. And hopefully it will take me down to this major level over here, which is 13,733.1. All right, so that's how I would basically interpret the move. So a price breaking below this level, I wouldn't get all happy and say, okay, it's for breaking down, right? Because I'll be taking it from up here, all right? But where I would want to go in with size is a clean break below this level over here. That will give me absolute confidence in saying that, okay, cool, I think price is going to break down lower. And even then, in saying that, I still could be wrong. I still could be wrong. So exercise caution in the market, because it is a bit confusing as it stands, right? But if you've been doing the work that you are supposed to be doing, that I've been encouraging you guys to be doing, because I'm always doing the work, because this thing for me is it's a serious business, right? You will find it easier to be able to read all of these hieroglyphs that I refer to as the candlesticks, or the candlesticks that I refer to as the hieroglyphs of the markets. If you're able to read what is going on right now as it's happening, okay, it doesn't matter if it's going up or going down, you're always going to find an opportunity to do something in there. You're always going to find an opportunity. The opportunity presents itself all the time, and the only way you're going to see it is that you're going to be sticking in there and actually learn in it, supposing to learning the get rich quick scheme, which is, oh, let me show you a strategy. If this crosses that and that crosses this, then it means that. No. This here is the language. You learn to understand this language. Take the time to learn to understand this language. It will help you a great deal. There are tons of other guys on videos that are showing different concepts, and they have different pieces to the puzzle, right? What you're supposed to do is take a piece from here, take a piece from here, take a piece from here, and try to understand what's going on. And the better you get at that, the better you ultimately will become in navigating the positions. And then you're not looking for 5-minute positions, you're looking for the hourly positions, the daily positions, the weekly positions, the ones that really give you substance, the ones that will really give you a bang for your buck. These are the positions that you're after. You're not after the 5 minute, 2 minutes, and all the rest of it. That's just pure speculation, in my opinion. Like, look, a move like this, right, from over here to down here. This is the kind of move you want. This is the kind of moves that you want, okay? Even if a position, say, with 1 lot size or 2 lot size, okay, this is still very respectable for a week take home. This is very, very, very respectable. Okay, and if you understand how to read the hieroglyphs of the markets, okay, you can then obviously be able to navigate this. You would have seen the signal that would have said, okay, this is going up, right? And where would the signal have been? So I'm just going to share this with you. Right? I'm going to share this with you, right? Where is the signal to say that this is going all the way up? And by the way, it's easier to do this in hindsight, but in actual live markets, it's not so straightforward, and you would know that by now, right? So, so I thought I'd just put this in there for caution. So where would you have been able to read this? Okay, so look at this level right here, right? Look at this level right here, right? So that was previous week's Friday. So not this Friday, but the previous Friday. That was the low, and that was the high for that day. That high was taken out on the Monday. Okay, you could have turned around and said, okay, the guy that I'm watching says that the high is usually locked in on a Tuesday, right? Because that's what I said, between the Monday and the Tuesday, right? Obviously, we got the high on a Thursday. But you can say, oh, you know what? I'm just going to ride it, and I'm going to use the trailing stop to lock in what I can lock in whenever it does anything to say that it's showing a support or resistance level, okay? So you could have gone in, say, right here. So you took a position here, right? You took a position here because you identified a key level was smashed through, right? Which was the high, the daily high of that day was taken out on the Monday. So you put in your buy over here, you ride it, right? You don't have a TP because you don't know how high it's going to go, and you don't know how low it's going to go. You're just speculating, just guessing, right? You bring your trading stop over here, right? Just underneath these wicks over here, okay? Give it a bit of room. Well, you could do it and then you could touch it. But either way, we're just going to say in hindsight, you done it like this, okay? So you missed these wicks over here. You get into a Thursday, it's still pushing up. It's still pushing up. So then you move your trading stop, say somewhere over here. You get to the Thursday, right? Thursday mid-afternoon, you see that it's dancing around. It looks like he wants to do more stuff. You move your trading stop up here, and it's on a major level. And then what you then do is you put a pending sell order down here, because you're like, look, it's done a high, or it looks like it's done a high, okay? There's a very good chance it's going to break down. Let me position myself. And then you reposition yourself, say somewhere over here. Somewhere over here. Let's just be more reasonable. Somewhere over here. And then you get all of that. And then you get all of that, okay? But if you understand how to read this, right? And this is something that I'm learning, so I don't have it down. But it's something that I'm learning. And if you've been watching the videos, you will clearly see that there's been some really solid improvements in terms of how I'm doing things, right? I mean, I can definitely see it. I mean, in all aspects, I can definitely see it. And that's why I'm quite excited as we're moving into 2024, which is going to be an exciting year for all of us. So you would then be able to see, okay, cool. You're going to take the opposite side and then you're going to write it down. Or you could say, you know what, you're not going to do anything here. You do absolutely nothing. You wait for it to lock in a high, and then you say, all right, cool, now I'm going to jump in. And then you jump in. And basically, and what that does is you're not putting in trades here, unless it's in line with the sentiment, because there's nothing wrong with locking in trades everywhere and anywhere, but it's got to be order and structure to it, right? So you could wait. It gets up here. You see it's broken a low. You then hop in. You ride it all the way down. Either you do 2 trades a week, which is to the downside, to the top side, or you do 1 trade a week, which is from one side to the other. Point blank and simple, right? Keep it simple. So next week, we're looking for the same type of vibe. And what we have right now, as we speak, is we have a low. So we have a repeat of last week over here, essentially. So we have the low that was locked in on a Friday, and we now have a low that was locked in this week on a Friday. Okay? So now all we kind of need to do in this structure, and market has made it very difficult for us to kind of figure out the point, right? They've made it quite interesting to figure out the situation. So all basically we're waiting to see, all that I'll be waiting to see, right, is if it's going to break this weekly low or not. If it doesn't break this weekly low, then I know that I should either be looking for buys, right, to the upside, okay, or I say no, I'm not going to wait and look for a buy to the upside. I'm going to wait for it to get to the upside, wait for price to start breaking down, then I'm going to then ride it downwards, right? So I don't necessarily need to be in it every single day. I just need to find the right moment at the right time and lock it in and get off the screen, right? So on that note, my awesome people from all around the world, I want to thank you for coming over to watch another episode of NAS100 analysis today. Make sure you look in the description area, okay? So there are links to TradingView, a blog post that I've put up with recommended books that if you don't have in your collection, I recommend you go get those books. They definitely will help you, okay, in understanding certain things to do with the markets. It will give you that extra edge. And also a link to a broker that I recommend. So go in there, check them out, do what you're supposed to do, and I'll see you in the next video, which will be very, 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 very soon. So for now, this is Pips and Points signing out.